Okay, guys, we are here today. It is Friday. Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Pub family. Thank you for being here with me well, I shouldn't say early, but this morning. And so let's see. I want to make sure I'm just going to go across my board to make sure all my. Okay, that one's going. Okay, that one's on silence. Hold on. This is about. Let's go back to my content. Where is my? This is what happens when you stream on multiple platforms. Let's see my page. Okay, right here. Let's play this. Okay, so this one's going. It's ready to share. Trying to make sure I have them all. I'm on. Okay. Okay, everybody. If you haven't noticed, I'm on YouTube, Rumble, Patreon, Twitch. I also have a locals. And let me go to my links. Let's see. I have a Patreon, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch. Linux. Okay, so anyway, I think I'm on everybody. So if y'all not, if I'm supposed to be live and I'm not live. Oh, and Facebook. So y'all can catch me on Facebook as well. So all right. Again, welcome. It is Good Friday, everybody. Good Friday. Woo! Good Friday. Y'all are all probably doing last minute shopping, trying to get ready for the weekend, trying to get ready for Easter. So I completely understand. Trust me, our plans have changed like 5 times within the last couple of days. So we still don't even know what's kind of going on. We're barely getting the foundation now. So hopefully by later on in a little while, we should have kind of a more of a rough idea of where we're going on which day and around kind of what time. So hopefully we'll know. So, but I'm just here, but today is actually going to be it's an interesting Friday. I know it's supposed to be a good Friday and I'm not supposed to be bringing any bad news or anything like that. But I've been wanting to do this video for a while and I just keep getting pushed off with some of the other stuff more locally. But this is more on a national basis. So I do want to cover this because it is important not only locally but nationally as well. So yes, definitely. Sit down, my love. Sit down. Sit down. There you go. See? Okay, sorry, my baby right here. My other dog, I love too, but and he's in my love is right here. You shouldn't have favorite amongst your kids, but sometimes it's just hard to not show one a little bit of extra love. Okay, down. Sit down. Coco. Coco, my love, sit down. Coco, sit down. I know, don't quit licking me. I'm busy right now. I'm trying to work. All right, guys. So again, I didn't want to do this. This is more of a national story. So this happened in Florida. So I am gonna share the screen, and again, Attorney General, and I like to be on top. Do. Doesn't give me I don't know how they choose these options sometimes. Okay, and let me take down the text. I'm sorry, I didn't realize my Cash App, not even my Cash App, that Vivid Style Cash App was flowing. I am sorry. So before we get started, I am gonna start doing this on a regular basis, and hopefully I can have this recorded previously so I could just play it. But under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And again, all people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Okay, so let's get into this. Here, this is the offices of Attorney General James Uthmayer. I guess when we listen to the video, we'll learn how to say it correctly because I am really bad at names. Really bad. Sometimes I wonder if I can even say my own name. I'm like, dude, why? But it's very easy. But anyway, so they had Tallahassee, Florida. So today, this was actually back on April 7th. So this was about 11 days ago. Today, Attorney General James Uthmeyer announced charges for 8 members of the International Child Corn Ring through a proactive investigation by Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Authorities uncovered advertisements on social media selling large amounts of child um, uh, S abuse material, which is CSAM. So from now I'm gonna call them CSAMs. Um, because yeah, some of these words we cannot say. We are um, they do put restrictions on free speech sometimes. So you know, although this is all of my podcasts, I try to really make sure that the age appropriate is marked. So hopefully no kids ever come across something that they're not supposed to see. Especially when it comes from me, because I try to make sure all my stuff say not kid appropriate, so that way they can make sure YouTube can make sure as well that these my videos do not go out there. Every now and then I do cuss, guys, so I mean, words tend to slip out, but I always, even though I don't, my podcasts or my videos are, I try to keep them as clean as possible. Doesn't mean that things don't slip, and then especially real life things tend to come out, and you can't go back and fix them until after the fact. We don't know if the kids are here listening at the time. So again, I'm gonna start saying C-SPAN. CSAM is child sex abuse material. So you know what they were doing. The investigation revealed a group led by Mehmet Burke I don't know, a resident of Turkey, that transformed massive amounts of CSAM to buyers, including 8 men in the U.S. So that means 8 people in the U.S. purchased these material, purchased these type of material. The arrests of these predators are just the beginning. Every image of child abuse, whoops, leaves a lasting scar on an innocent life, and we will aggressively prosecute these heinous crimes, said Attorney General James Uthmayer. It's disgusting that child sex abuse material. Okay, they need to put. I need to read this before. Okay, it's disgusting that CSAM is advertised in plain view on apps such as TikTok, and we will continue fighting to get these major social media companies to do their part in shutting down the spread of material. I'm grateful for our FDLE partners who uncovered this deviant network, highlighted their sickening actions. Our stay right prosecutors will ensure these disgusting criminals face justice. This case is a testament to the power of law enforcement teamwork and the strength of interagency collaboration, said FDLE Commissioner Mark Glass. To the criminals believing they can hide among the shadows of the internet, know this: FDLE is always watching. We are always working and we will always find you. Authorities discovered the global operation through an undercover proactive review of websites known to law enforcement that are used by individuals for distribution of Seacorn. Investigators responded to an ad listing more than 6 terabytes of material for $100. For $100, he sold over 6 terabytes of the CSAM to people and to this one individual, and received more than 1 million videos and pictures which were determined to be CSAM. So again, let's read that again. Authority discovered the global operation through an undercover proactive review of websites known to law enforcement that are used by individuals for the distribution of sea corn. Investigators responded to an ad listing more than 6 terabytes of material for $100 and received more than 1 million videos and pictures, which were determined to be CSAM. Authorities subsequently seized the domain of the website so that any further web traffic would be redirected to FDLA to hinder the further distribution of CSAM. Investigators also isolated. Sit down, baby. Sit down, Coco. Authorities discovered oh, okay. Investigators also isolated individuals who took part in the operation to profit from the sale of CSAM. At least 4 individuals served as money mules, accepting money from buyers in Florida, then pocketing a percentage of the total and sending the remainder to Bozuyuk. 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 I don't know. The ringleader in Turkey. Bozuyuk or Boyzayuk then filtered the money by purchasing access to unsuspecting victims' financial accounts through the dark web before taking possession. So basically, almost money laundering. I don't know. He was moving money around in accounts into people's accounts that weren't aware of, just so he wouldn't get caught. Basically, that was kind of like an extra step to deter it wouldn't link it to him. Authorities arrested 8 individuals in the U.S. for participating in the scheme or buying CSAM, 7 of which reside in Florida. Attorney General's Youth Myers OSP charged the following individuals: Krunal Kumar Norishbai Maldi of New Jersey is charged with 1 count of racketeer influence and corrupt organization, RICO, RICO, and money laundering. So, kind of what I said. Frankie Pinero Jr. of Groveland, Florida. So he must have been the only one that wasn't from Florida because he said 6, 7 were from Florida and one was 7 of them were from Florida. So, okay. Anyway, Frankie Panera Jr. of Groveland, Florida is charged with 1 count each of conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of Sequorn, use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony, which is your phone. Brett Ryan Moore of Orange City, is charged with 1 count each of conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of Sequorn, use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. Israel Cole Thompson of Lakeland is charged with 1 count of each conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child corn, use of two-way communication device to commit a felony. Brett Allen Snodderly of Clearwater is charged with 1 count each of one to commit RICO, purchase of child corn, use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. Jacob Ross Conley of Fern Park is charged with 1 count each of conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child's corn, and use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. Cody Vance Jordan Multi of Palm Bay is charged with 1 count of each of conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child corn, use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. Also, Michael Andrew Warren of Kissimmee is charged with 1 count each conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child corn, and use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony. You want to have those cell phones, you got to be careful what you do because they can get you. Law enforcement issued additional arrest warrants for Bazayuk and Ziamora del Real Marquita in Oregon. Bazuyuk. God, how do you pronounce his name? I'm not going to get this. I'm going to call him B. B is charged with RICO, conspiracy to commit RICO, money laundering, 13 counts of promotion of um sex performance by a child, 10 images or more, so the CSAM of 10 images or more, 11 counts of selling corn, child corn, 13 counts out of state transmission of child corn by electronic device, 13 counts also, which is that's the computer, that's not a two-way, remember. 13 counts of distribution of obscene material and 9 counts of use of a two-way communication device. So one for the computer and the electronic device computer, two-way communication device, your telephone. Marquita is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Special counsel Rita Peters from the Office of Statewide Prosecution will lead the case. Wow. So the the video that I did want to show was actually taken down from the actual news station from Florida. So thank God, like I didn't save it or anything, but thank God somebody else did and did a video right away because it was hard for me to find this video again, at least the whole video. So we are gonna go. Let me find that video. It is. Oops, wrong one. Over here. Let's go over here. Do, 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 do. I did have it in my history, my playlist. Watch later. Oh, maybe it's not in this one. Sorry. Let me switch. I think I had it under my other account. Stop, dude. Right here. Okay. I sure did. Okay, hold on. Don't play yet. Let me share it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this one off and I'm gonna share this one over here. Show on stream. Oh, no, that's not the right one. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. That's why. I gotta do this one. Okay. Duh. Show on stream. Okay. So this is the Florida's Attorney General. It's about 31 minutes, but let's
Our
kind of.
Office of Statewide Prosecution, Rita Peters. It's good to be back. I wish it was to talk about something more uplifting, but we do have a big announcement this morning that we are busting an international child pornography ring. We'll be bringing charges against 8 individuals this morning, 7 of whom are Florida residents. As a dad of 3 little ones, it's tough to talk about some of this stuff, but what these guys were doing was truly heinous. There's not a word in the English dictionary that can describe the gross content that was on the videos. Our investigators have been able to get their hands on over 1 million videos showing sexual abuse on minors. Many of these individuals were babies. That are being sold around the world. The 2023 National Center for Missing and Exploited Children reports over 36 million instances of suspected child sexual exploitation and over 100 million files related to child sex abuse material. And that's only what's getting reported. This continues to be a problem in our country, in our state. Protecting our kids is not an easy task to begin with, and today, with the access to the internet and social media, it allows these sick predators to more easily get access to our kids. And as I've said, my first 5-6 weeks on the job here, that's going to be a major priority for my office. The individuals that are being busted today that purchase this harmful content, many of them found it through TikTok. It was available online. They found access to a portal where they could purchase this dangerous material. TikTok has shown they can very quickly get stuff off their website. If there's unlicensed music or something going around, they've proven and with a flip of a switch they can get it off. And it's taken too long for them to get some of this pornographic material and avenues to purchase harder, more gross content.
So he is kind of right. TikTok has they're right because right away if you're even on YouTube, like I did a video and I think I have music playing in the background when I was cooking and stuff. They copyrighted my stuff, which is fine. I mean, like, what was I doing? Like, I'm not trying to steal your stuff, but whatever. Um, but they catch those things really quick. And so even with TikTok, like if you're doing something that they'll catch them really quick. But with some of this stuff, like when it comes to other things, like especially when it was like the Diddy's case and things like that, there's a lot of things that get taken off really quick when it benefits one side of the argument, and then when it's the other side of the argument, they take forever. Just like on YouTube, with all um the reporting and the this and this and this, but if nothing happens to their channel or whatever, then YouTube is kinda, like, allowing it to happen, or TikTok in this case is allowing it to happen, and, it's kinda like, why? Like, why hasn't this been shut down? Like, you can take down a song for copyright, but you can't take down sea corn or any kinda CSAM out there. This is by all means, and it was an advertisement saying blank blank for $100, 79 tetrabytes or 100 whatever how many tetrabytes that article said for $100. That was the advertisement. So people like us, there were like, why are you trying to sell tetrabytes? I mean, if you're a computer whiz and you're trying to build a computer, that may be a good thing. But for us normal people, why would we want to go out and buy, so many tetrabytes? Um, what was it? Let me go back and read this. It wasn't 90. It was 6 terabytes, $100. So I don't know exactly what the ad listing was exact. I mean, it would have been nice if they would have put like an example of the ad listing or something. But I mean, if they just put like 6 terabytes of material for $100 on there, I mean, us little people probably really won't be like, why are they selling terabytes of material? Like, okay, maybe they're selling computer things, whatever, whatever. But I wish I really had an example of that ad, so that way people like us, we know what to look for. So, or like little words that we may not use every day, but that they use kind of like cadaver, you know, um, or whatever, things like that. So anyway, oh, excuse me. So let's start playing this.
Content, we've got to get them to be more accountable. So we will be working on that. We are going to hold social media companies accountable that want to put our families and our kids in jeopardy.
When you happen to start talking the truth, they like to make things hard on you.
So today, these 8 defendants are being charged with multiple felony counts, including RICO, money laundering, and purchase of child pornography. Again, I can't tell you in words how gross this content is, but it shows the dangers, the evil that's out there. It is truly evil. And you've got my word that in this state, we are going to do everything we can to hold these people accountable. If you are a child predator, if you are one of these sick people, then I hope you never see the sun again, and I hope you certainly never have access to kids again. So we will continue that fight, and I want to give a very special thanks to Rita Peters from Statewide Prosecution for leading this fight. She's going to slap these guys around in the courtroom, and unfortunately I'm figurative in that comment, but thankful to her, as well as investigator Abby George, who busted the case. So thank you. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Mark Glass.
Thank you, General. Appreciate it. I just want to say, first and foremost, General Uthmeyer has stepped in and stepping up and stepping out. He is really allowing us to just move forward on these types of cases, these long-term cases, and continue on to get these evil, sick people behind bars. I want you to just take a look at that board over here with these folks. And it is just evil. The faces you see there are faces of evil. The General talked about, we can't even talk about what was on those films and what they had because it is that disturbing. More disturbing than you would see even in your movies, way more. It's evil. And the sad part about it, there's many more out there, just like these evil people. Many more. And we know it.
Ay, people just keep bothering me today. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know. People keep bothering me.
And through the hard work and
They don't bother me any other
dedication
time, but it's like the 1 hour I need, they're gonna bother
from
me.
multi-agencies, such as HSI with DHS, our task force agents from multiple agencies across this Tampa Bay area and the rest of the state, FDLE, and our Office of Statewide Prosecution. We're able to get out there and get these evil people out of our society, put them where they belong, behind bars, answer to their crimes. I'm a father, I'm a brother, I'm a husband, and I'm your state of Florida commissioner on FDLE. And the stuff that these evil people did emboldens not only me, but the men and women behind me to go out and get more of people like this off our streets. This will not be tolerated in the state of Florida. And when I became the commissioner of FDLE, this is one of my highest priorities, is going after sexual predators, sex offenders, child molesters, deviants that do this kind of stuff to our children. Not just our children in the United States, we're talking about children all across the world. We would be remiss not to talk about why it was such important to shut down our border. Children that these evil people do these heinous things with came across our border. I was out there, and the people that looks like that's their mother, it's not their mother. They're just muling the kid.
The pineal gland has tiny little cilia, hair-like extensions all around it. When you hold your breath and you finally let your breath out and you allow that cerebrospinal fluid to accelerate, the acceleration of that cerebrospinal fluid begins to stimulate and tickle those little cilia. And as it begins to become stimulated, the pineal gland begins to release very sacred chemicals. And when you apply a mechanical stress and you begin to compress those crystals, the compression of those crystals begins to produce an extra
And the stuff that these evil people did emboldens not only me, but the men and women behind me to go out and get more of people like this off our streets. This will not be tolerated in the state of Florida. And when I became the commissioner of FDLE, this is one of my highest priorities, is going after sexual predators, sex offenders, child molesters, deviants that do this kind of stuff to our children? Not just our children in the United States, we're talking about children all across the world. We would be remiss not to talk about why it was such important to shut down our border. Children that these evil people do these heinous things with came across our border. I was out there, and the people that looks like that's their mother, it's not their mother. They're just muling the kid. And with HSI out there looking up the unaccompanied minors, we're helping them, FDLE shouldering with them to try to find these children that were brought into our system to make sure they're safe. And we want to make sure that every one of these children were safe that came across that border, that are here in the United States, first and foremost. But ladies and gentlemen, make no disclaimer here for you. This is evil, and it will not be tolerated in the free state of Florida. I'll be followed up behind me by the Special Agent in Charge, Mark Brutnell, to give you a little bit more in depth about this case. Mark?
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Attorney General, for both of your support and your leadership. I know the team really appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you for that. So I'm going to kind of get into a little bit of the weeds of this investigation, which to me, this is one of those career cases. This is one of those cases where you're going to look back 10 years from now and say, I made some change. It was a lot of hard work, and I'm glad I did it, and the results speak for themselves. So what happened was in July of 2024, our agents were working proactively on the internet, looking for individuals that like to sell and distribute child pornography. And our agent found a chat room where he was speaking to an individual who directed him to a website called tributeprintedpics.com, which is on the internet. It's not the dark web, it's the straight internet. So our undercover agent went there and began a conversation with an unknown individual who wanted to sell him child pornography. At the end of the day, our agent purchased 6.7 terabytes of child pornography for $100. So I'm going to put that into context. That 6.7 terabytes is 1.2 million videos and pictures of some of the most egregious, disgusting content we've ever seen. My agent has done this for a long time, and he came to me after that purchase and having to view some of that stuff and said, boss, it was awful. It was awful. For him to say that, it had to be really bad. I've read the affidavits, and it makes me sick. So that's where the case really office, FDLE, and the Attorney General's office, we executed a seizure warrant on that website, tributeprintedpics.com, and we shut it down. We said, you're not selling that stuff on the internet. We shut it down. Within 2 days, several phone calls from law enforcement agencies all across the country, local, state, federal. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you. A lot of them had active cases, and they could not figure out how to shut this website down. The state of Florida shut it down. So as the case progresses, we identify an individual from New Jersey, Krunamar Modi. We realized he was a money mule for this organization. Let me back up. In the midst of our undercover chat, we also were directed how to pay the $100 for this 1.2 million files. So we went up to New Jersey, working with those authorities in New Jersey. We executed a search warrant at his residence, an arrest warrant, and all of his electronics. We did a very thorough scrub of his electronics, which produced a treasure trove of evidence. This is where the case really started to take off. We were able to identify an individual by the name of John DeVille. Clearly that was an alias, we knew that at the time, but John DeVille and Mr. Modi had over 500 transactions. So that's the volume of transactions of this CSAM that they were distributing and selling. Knowing that was clearly an alias, that was when the case really took off. That's when our primary goal was to find out who John was. As a part of this investigation, we were able to identify 7 people in Florida that had purchased this material from John through Modi. And those customers were identified as Brett Ryan Moore from Orange City, Michael Andrew Warden from Kissimmee, Jacob Ross Conley from Fern Park, Cody Vance Jordan Muti from Palm Bay, and Israel Cole Thomas from Lakeland. Now there's 2 customers up here on this board that I'm going to just kind of talk about them briefly. The first one is Frankie Pinero Jr. He is from Groveland, Florida. This individual was listed as a sex offender. He was currently on probation, from a child pornography arrest that our office in Orlando did in 2019. He got a very light slap on the wrist for that case, and he was also sentenced to 20 years of probation. We know he bought a large amount of this disgusting material from our guy John, and it was on his phone. So I'm pretty confident, you'll hear from Rita here in a minute, he's not getting probation on this one. There's no doubt about that. Our second individual was a guy named Brett Allen Snodderly from Clearwater. Again, we know he purchased this material from John. During a search warrant at his residence, we found children's underwear at the residence. Now, we did our due diligence. We're positive he's not a hands-on offender, but obviously great cause for concern. His phone, which was very tech-savvy, we had to bring it back to the office, get into it with a search warrant, proper legal service, which we did. Ultimately, you guess it, lots of CSAM on the phone. So about 7 days later, we get an arrest warrant. We have Clearwater PD go pick up Mr. Snarley. And when they do, what does he have? He has a new phone with even more child pornography on the phone. I mean, I don't know what to do at this point. You can't fix that, right? So this guy, we have his phone within a week, a new phone, more child pornography. As the investigation continues, we're always searching for John. We identify through HSI another money mule, Exima McQuaida from Portland, Oregon. She was a facilitator for the sale of this disgusting material. She has a current arrest warrant now for money laundering. We also identified suspects in Canada and Ireland, and we're working with HSI in that regard. So finally, after almost a year of diligent work, 140 subpoenas, 20 search warrants, endless hours of analysis. You see this chart here, that's kind of a way to break down the spider web that we had to sift our way through and figure out who's who here. We were able to identify John DeVille as Mehmet Bozayuk from Adana, Turkey. Mr. Mehmet was very deliberate in hiding his identity. He utilized multiple layers of VPNs, money mules, obviously, burner accounts, burner phones. He also used a lot of stolen personal identification information that he would steal off the web to send money through different channels. He really, really believed that he could outsmart us, but at the end of the day, he didn't. He tried to profit on this horrific abuse of children, but we caught him. A little backstory on Mr. Mehmet. He's married with 2 kids, and this is his way of making money. We currently have an arrest warrant for him in the system. We are talking with HSI, our partners at HSI, to try to get him extradited to Florida, and I hope we can pull that off because he will be held accountable here in Florida, no doubt about it. An excellent case, the teamwork. Again, as a father, like everyone has mentioned before, I was amazed at these guys, the way their dogged pursuit of him. Again, it's one of those cases where you're gonna look back when you're over with this career and say, I made a difference. That's just one network. I'm sure there's several more out there that we are actively going to target as well. So with that, I'm going to bring up Asak McCombs.
Okay, this is absolutely crazy. Like this man, like he said, like some of these people had already some kind of charges on them. They were released. They got light sentences. This other guy, he had stuff taken away, and within a week, he had new devices, new things. So nothing will stop these people. Nothing will stop these people. These people will find ways, and like this person, like he said, this website was in clear sight on the internet. It wasn't the black web. I don't know the difference between regular internet and black web. Trust me, I am not. I know that there is such a thing as a black web, but how you get to it and where it's at, like that is just not me. I don't. I just pop on and do my research. So, I'm enough tech savvy just to get through the day. I'm not no hacker. I'm not no nothing. I couldn't tell you. I don't write codes. I don't do, I don't write programs. I don't do any of that. I know some of the language. Obviously, I know that, but mm. so, but like he said, this website was playing on the internet. Nobody turned them in. Apparently, nobody ever came across this site accidentally or anything like that. But these people had access to it. They knew what it was. They had, like you said, he had money mules, everything. He was going using other people's accounts. I don't know if they mentioned that yet or not, but like you said, he was a family man. Like, I mean, not a family man, but he had a family. He was married with kids, and this was like basically his job was to make money off of these kids in the wrong way possible, in the worst way possible. That was his job that he created for himself. Instead of going out and getting a real job to support his family, his wife, and his kids, he put other kids' lives in danger. Um, I don't know if his kids were one of them or what, but that is just crazy. If you wouldn't do it to your family or to your kids or to someone you love, then why would you do it to somebody else's? Just I don't understand that.
Importantly, our great collaboration with the state of Florida and its partners. No finer partners to have than partners at the state of Florida. FDLE is a tremendous, tremendous partner for us, and the citizens of Florida should be proud for the level of investigative effort that went into this investigation to keeping all of our families safe, to include my own. HSI has 90 offices in 56 countries all around the world, and a number of them were utilized in this investigation to uncover this network. You know, oftentimes we will bring these investigations to the state, but this one was the reverse. They brought us in on this investigation. We're very thankful for that. It's a great partnership when the federal government and the state government can combine resources and leave no stone unturned worldwide to uncover massive amounts of child pornography at a low, global, systemic level, and one that we're going to, you know, work very hard to dismantle. We will not stop in pursuing these investigations. We can't stop, and the level and brutality of these images are sickening, and I've seen a lot. I just want to thank the investigators on this investigation, some of the best that I've seen, the financial analysis, some of the best that I've seen in my 28 years of federal law enforcement, and very, very proud to be a part of this investigative team. And I also want to thank my investigators at Homeland Security Investigations in Tampa. Thank you.
Good morning. By way of reintroduction, excuse me, my name is Rita Peters, and I have the pleasure of serving under Attorney General James Uthmeyer at the Office of Statewide Prosecution. I specialize in matters involving human trafficking, sex crimes, child exploitation, and I have been doing that for about 26 years. And to say that the images and videos that I observed in this case were the most horrendous is an understatement. In July 2024, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement contacted me to assist in an investigation regarding a sale of images of child exploitation, child sexual abuse material. We learned that for $100, they were able to obtain links that led them to over 1 million videos of children involved in some of the most heinous types of sexual brutality that I have ever seen. Brutality that involved infants, necrophilia, brutal sexual battery, and molestation. These horrific pictures and videos capture real, identifiable children whose names are in the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. These children have been identified series within that directory. They are victims of human trafficking. They're also victims of sexual battery and a plethora of other crimes. And these kids are from the United States. We began by sending subpoenas to multiple companies to start the paper trail and see where we were going. That was followed up with search warrants to various financial entities, as well as online communication applications. And then we kept following that paper trail until we finally learned the identity of our main distributor, Mehmet from Turkey. Through our past investigative experiences and information that we were able to obtain in the early stages of our investigation, we determined that the vehicle that was used by Mehmet was tributeprintedpics.com. And very quickly, we shut that down. We seized that website, and FDLE was able to shut it down. And as you've heard, multiple agencies, we actually heard from global agencies, England as well, that they thanked us for shutting that website down because it had been such a source of a problem. Through the following steps, we isolated the individuals that you see on that board who took part in not only the distribution by Mr. Mehmet, but also the purchase of all of these images. It is because of that desire to see children being brutally raped, the demand for that this was possible. In addition, we learned that Mr. Boziuk Mehmet also employed identification from other individuals stolen on the dark web to use their financial resources or their financial accounts to obtain funds from buyers to also sell this child pornography. We spoke to 2 of those individuals who had no idea that their financial accounts had been utilized for that purpose, one of whom was in Canada that broke down. He filtered money through these accounts just so that he can enrich himself through the sale of child pornography. These individuals have all been charged in Hillsborough County Court. Krunal Kumar Narashabi Modi from New Jersey is facing a 65-year sentence for RICO, or racketeering, conspiracy to racketeer, and money laundering. Frankie Pinero Jr., who also faced child pornography charges in the 9th Judicial Circuit, is charged with conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child pornography, and use of a two-way communication device to commit a felony, 40 years, Florida State Prison. And a side note, Mr. Pinero was charged by our Office of Statewide Prosecution through the Orlando Bureau with the additional child pornography that we obtained off of the electronic items, and he has pled and received a 35-year sentence on that one. So it's just a matter of days before we have him in our jurisdiction. We have Brett Ryan Moore, also charged with conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child pornography, and use of a two-way communication device. Again, 40-year sentence. Israel Cole Thompson, conspiracy to commit RICO, purchase of child pornography, and use of a two-way communication device, 40 years. Brett Allen Snodderly, similarly, 40 years. Jacob Ross Conley, 40 years. Cody Vance Jordan Muti, 40 years. Michael Warren, 40 years. And then ultimately, we will have Mehmet and also Jimena from Oregon. They will be charged. Mr. Mehmet Boziuk will have a whole host of charges, and his exposure will be well over 400 years in Florida State Prison. It was a pleasure to do this investigation. This was hands down just good old-fashioned police work, and that's what it was. It was a partnership. We made ourselves available at all hours, every day, as did every other agency, because it was about saving those children and making sure that we would take this element off of the street. And we look forward to prosecuting these individuals. We look forward to bringing Mr. Boziuk back from Turkey so that he can be answerable to our courts and receive the sentence that he so richly deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Parents and families at home can rest assured knowing Rita's here fighting the fight and keeping our kids safe. With that, we'll open it up if there's any questions.
Do you have Mr. Boziuk in custody in Turkey, or is he currently at large? And is there an avenue to extradite him here?
He is not currently in custody. We are working to get him. We'd like to extradite him over here and hold him accountable here, if at all possible. So we'll be working hard on that.
Will the government of Turkey cooperate?
I think some conversations have begun, but I can't really share much more than that unless somebody else has something to add. No.
So the low-level offenders, we typically see a lot of arrests. I'm sure Judd has had a lot of success in that. But this, seems to stretch a lot further, and you've gotten into the upper echelons of this horrific network. Can you talk about?
Yeah, cases like this are tough. There's tons of these sick guys out there. There are, and you can stumble upon a guy purchasing something here or there. And then you got kind of the tough decision. You want to get these perverts off the street right away, but you also can see, well, there's more to be had here. So is there more than what's on this board? Possibly, but we're at a point now where we've cracked the large international nature of this ring, where we got to get these people in and hold them accountable. We'll keep looking, we'll keep investigating on the peripheries here, see who else might fall under our authority. But you've hit on the tough spot. How hard do you keep investigating versus getting dangerous people off the streets? And we were at a point here where we felt like we had to bust these guys. We'll keep working on it. But I think we've learned a lot through this investigation that's going to help us as we try to expose and prosecute the larger international efforts here that harm kids.
We've heard a couple of, you mentioned it was a career case or one that you'll never forget. Is that because it went international, because of the amount of images or videos what was on it? Like, what kind of made it one that stands out from all the others?
I think you hit on both of it. The international element, the fact that you had this guy in Turkey working with a couple people over here to disseminate this largely, and then the volume was tremendous, and then the content, these kids in the videos are being abused again and again, and then to have this content sold and distributed where that victimization continues to occur every single day, just made this a mammoth case of evil. And for our investigator to stumble upon it and to be able to bust it is very meaningful for the state, for the country, really for the world. Yeah, come on.
If I could just add one thing to your question there. I think a couple of things make this the career case. To me, the saturation of this stuff on the internet is very concerning. $100 got you 1.2 million videos. That's a big issue, a bigger issue, obviously. But as we targeted our Florida folks, make no mistake, we have a bunch of evidence of individuals around the country, and those leads are going out to other law enforcement agencies across the country. We just focused on Florida first, but the Met had a large-scale international and national network, and we have those folks identified, and those leads are going out. Make no mistake, there'll be more arrests off this. This case is tip of the iceberg.
I ask you about the children, because obviously the official recognition software, I'm sure is applied.
Yes.
To, and there's the Missing and Exploited Children's Network. Have you identified any children that,
Hey guys, can you believe that Amazon made billions of dollars and only paid zero in tax? Isn't that incredible?
abducted or otherwise are part of that network that you'll be able to help them recover?
Yes, sir, not as of yet, but we were able to identify several series of this downloads that have been identified from NCMEC as that, which is also concerning, but also new ones, which we had never seen before. So it was a lot of videos. I mean, again, I go back to when they told me $100 got me 1.2 million. What are we doing? I mean, that's very concerning.
Are you guys able to walk us through sort of this spider web? Is that the hierarchy of power of this ring, or is that sort of like your steps, or just sort of what are we looking at on that?
That is just the depths at which Mehmet covered his tracks. Those are the ways he tried to stay away from his business by using burner phones, burner accounts, stealing uninvolved people's identification and using them as money mules, unbeknownst to them. As Rita said, we spoke to an individual in Canada who had no idea that this guy was using his stuff to facilitate his international child pornography ring. He was very, very slick. Not anymore, though, but he was.
Anybody else? Yeah.
I will ask a question. What are some things that you can encourage families and parents to prevent or to keep their children perhaps away from getting caught up in this kind of web?
Sure.
Preventions and different things that,
Yeah, the first thing, if you are not going and looking at social media and what's out there, you need to. And I'm not telling you, go look for porn, but you can see it is not hard to find it on publicly available social media websites like TikTok. As I said before, we're going to be cracking down. They got to get that stuff off of there. But the access, people, they're skilled. They impersonate others, and they try to lure kids in. So if you're teenagers, if you're young people, if they have access to social media, you should be all over that. The legislature passed a great bill a year ago where young kids cannot have access without parental consent, without parental involvement. We're litigating that law right now, and I think it's going to end up in the right way. It's the right thing to do. But you need to be having those conversations with your kids. You need to be exercising controls where you can, if you even want to let your kids have some of this information. I know those are difficult decisions. That's for you as a parent, and for every parent, it's going to be a little bit different. But I cannot say enough to scare you about how dangerous social media is for young people right now. I don't know if anybody has anything else to add.
Thank you, sir. Also, when you move somewhere or you're living in a neighborhood, FDLE has a website for you to take a look at, and these clowns are already on it. So now I'm gonna call them clowns because they're clowns. They're already on it. So know what's in your neighborhood. Know what's in your neighborhood. Know who your kids are going over to whose house. Know what's going on. Be parentally involved. Do not let the government parent your kids, because the government cannot parent your kids. We can uphold the law, pursue the law, and protect you in that manner. But you, as a parent, have to be involved with your children at all costs. This is also solid in knowing who's coming in your home, whether it be contractual services, whether you have maids, whether you have you got some work done on your house. Know who you're contracting with. And then we have many websites within the state of Florida, from everything from seeing if it's a reputable company. We already doing, you can check the reputable company and knowing who's coming to your house. You can ask the person who's contracting, who's coming to my house? What's their name? You could go online and check it yourself. I recommend a lot of people do that. A lot of people don't do that because they're afraid they'll offend somebody. Trust me, go ahead and offend them, because if they're offended, then there's a problem. Because if I had a business and you were checking to see what contractors coming in my house, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's John Q. Smith, it's Joe Citizen, that's who's coming here, and and we do background checks in our systems and everything too. Please do yours too. If you see anything, please let us know, because then I would get you off my rolls as an employee. If you're a reputable company, you will do that. If you're not, you're just going to go grab anybody that's there. Remember, a lot of these folks, when they go down this pathway, do not have, they can't get certain jobs, because you won't pass your background in being around children or in and around people. So they go to these type of things. So just pay attention to who's coming to your house and who's in the area. So.
Anything else? Go to the order. Yeah, I'll close by saying two things. One, one of these individuals was on a lighter probation sentence by the state attorney over in Orlando. Just another example of the dangers that can be out there when you have people that want to go soft on crime. So our office is going to be looking at that individual, her conduct going forward. We want to make sure that we are enforcing rule of law, we are upholding the duties that oaths are sworn to in the Constitution, and that we are keeping the streets as safe as we can. And then the second thing I'll say, again, to echo, this was a great team operation. We got a great thing going here in Florida. Our state law enforcement, the AG's office, Homeland Security, and our federal partners, we're working well together, to advance public safety and rule of law. Our state law enforcement officers, they need a raise, a big one. The governor's proposed it. I've been screaming from the hilltop, and hopefully our legislature will come through this year and deliver. It's getting more expensive to live in Florida, as everybody knows, and we're all dealing with that. But these public servants that put their lives on the line every day, it's tough on them. We got to have their backs and help them to be successful. So thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
My son's telling my dog to shut up. Shut up, Chanel. No. Okay. So, yes, very interesting. I'm glad I was able to find that. You can find this video at 10 Tampa Bay. Again, this was 11 days ago. So definitely, um, So, yes, this is crazy, but um, one of the officials were right. You do want to do your background check. You want to make sure you know who your kids are going, whose houses your kids are going to, who their parents are, who there's even if their friend has a brother or a sister, you want to know who they are. Because sometimes it could be another child doing certain things. Um, please, 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 if you have, like he said, maintenance people, um, internet people, any kind of IT people, things like that. Whether it's a plumber, any contractor that you have coming in to do any kind of maintenance, or even if it's just to come, like what was it, Rag and Wolf or something like that? They were like there are these apps for like dog walkers where if you're gone on vacation, you put a lock on your door, and only that app has the combination, so it's able to provide it to the the caregiver of the dog, to come in and be able to walk them while you're gone, feed them when you're gone, and things like that. Um, but then again, this is also a complete stranger, probably you've never met. Mean there are people once. Shh. What? Um, Now I've lost my train of thought. But oh, like the dog people, yes, they come, but you don't know if they do complete backgrounds to that extent. I know they do certain backgrounds to make sure, but if a person hasn't been caught, then the person hasn't been caught. Like, you can steal so many times and not get caught and not have a background. You know what I mean? You just may be one of the lucky ones that haven't got caught yet. But you never know. Or it could be somebody that's never had any kind of criminal background or anything like that. It may be, the person, it may be a friend that's from work or anything like that. You always want to make sure you do your background. Um, And just like even with me, what was it, yesterday? I was running a little late to go pick up the kids from the bus. Like, I literally left like 3 minutes before the bus was supposed to come, and technically I'm supposed to leave no less than 5 minutes. It's either 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes to be on the safe side, 5 to get there like literally right on time if the bus isn't early or whatever. But I literally left like 2 to 3 minutes before this bus was going to get there, and I was like, "Run, Papa, run. Let's go. We got to go get brothers." But, yeah, and then, and of course you see all the other parents and whatever, and I'm not saying she's a bad lady or not. I mean, she offered like, "Hey, if you ever can't make it, I'm here. I can pick up the boys." I'm like, "Thank you, but no, not really." I mean, I know she was being nice and stuff like that, but at the same time, I don't know you, lady. I only see you for 5, 10 minutes out here. We chit chat, we shoot the breeze, but nothing too serious. How's the weather? Whatever, whatever. But yeah, no, nope, and no. Nope, sorry. Nope. Just not doing it. Um, I will make sure I'm here. If not, my parents will pick them up. Like, she doesn't realize that, but I said thank you. I'm grateful for that she asked, because I think if I was in her situation, I probably would do the same thing. But people who know me and I know myself, I'm not. I don't need any more kids. I'm not trying to take anybody's kids. Like, I got plenty of my own. Like, I'm trying to get rid of mine. but um, but yeah, it's just kind of like things like that. You may know your neighbor. You may let your kids. Hey, you're running home. You had to work late. They kept you late. Whatever. You're 30. You thought it was only going to be 30 minutes. You come back and the neighbor is gone with their kids, kind of thing. Like, you never know. Like, unless you know, I mean, this is not like the '80s where your neighbors have been around for 20 years, and then their parents were there for about 20 years, so it's like the whole family themselves, so it's kinda like family with family and neighbors, but nowadays, like, it's not the same. It's not the same. You can't just go knock next door and be like, "Mom, going next door, play." They be like, "Who, what, when, there, and who lives there now?" Like, you know how many people have come in and out of that place? Like, no, not having it. Um, But yes, definitely wanna do your backgrounds. Like you said, you won't offend anybody unless they're doing something wrong. That's the only time you offend somebody. Um, just be like, who what's his name, what's his badge number, and then whatever, whatever. Or his employee number kinda thing. Make sure you follow up, and then please go do your own research. Again, this Again, I'm going to read this out loud. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All people are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So even at that, I can't say those boys are guilty because again, they haven't been tried in case. They've only been arrested and charged with certain crimes. Very, very harmful crimes. But yes. Um Again, this happened back on April 7th. It was real. I'm glad that they're watching, but again, some of the information that they put out there, like this guy was initially had a previous offense already, and people see that's what I don't understand. People are people. People are human, and people make mistakes. People, you know, they're not perfect. But at the same time, you gotta understand and prioritize some of these charges, some of these crimes, like the other like when I was doing the thing yesterday, this boy, 20 years old at the time, now 21. Yes, now he's an adult. I mean, he was an adult before, but I mean, a drinking adult now. Like before, he couldn't even drink, but now he's capable of it. But 20, at the age of 20, still young, still impressionable, still able to make a change. To a lady who was a little bit older in her 30s, whatever, 40s, or I don't remember her age, who was obviously an adult with experience, who was drinking and driving and killed another lady but now is on house arrest. This person gets 2 years. In this case, this person had a charge already with similar offenses, with similar crime and similar charges, and was easily let off to do it again. So this is where we as city councils, legislators, representatives, all these people who have the authority to make these laws and legal, they really need, or even the judges and the lawyers and whoever has the opportunity to be involved in decision making, whether it's like the judgment of the crime or actually making the law for the judgment of the crime, whatever your part is in this, like you have to prioritize these crimes. Like when you kill somebody, that is whether you meant to or not, but technically you kind of did because you knew when you drink and drive, you know that you're gonna there's a chance that you might harm somebody. So therefore, right from wrong. You know right from wrong. I mean, this child knew right from wrong too, but his was a non-violent crime. A non-violent crime. And these people have violent crimes towards other people and towards children, and yet they get to walk free or be outside of prison or a jail cell. Like the other lady, she's still living at home. She's on house arrest. She's still able to live outside of jail. She's not locked up. That being on house arrest, I don't think is true punishment, honestly. Half the time I don't even go anywhere, so I'm on house arrest all the time. Like, come on now. House arrests are for kids, are for people who are juvenile and they need a house, they need that constant vision so that way you don't send them to jail, you don't send them to prison. That's the next step after you can't handle this spot for 24 hours, 7 days a week for 6 months, then homie, go try it over there. I'm just like, damn, like he should have gone to house arrest. She should have gone in jail. These people, that guy should have gone in jail a long time ago and never been released. And like in order to come out and harm another. If you harm somebody, like that should be automatic. That should be automatic. You are somebody, you beat up somebody, you shoot somebody, you do reckless endangerment as far as DWI, all this other stuff. If you did some type of, I don't care if you were speeding and you passed a red light and you hurt somebody, that is all danger. When you harm somebody, that should be harmful. That should be automatic because you knew what you were doing was wrong, whether you were in the right state of mind or you weren't in the state of mind, but you were in the right state of mind in order to pick up that beer. But you weren't in the right state of mind to drive that car. Whatever. But you still were in that right state of mind to make that choice to pick up that beer. Don't drink at all. In this case, but this is what I'm talking about. The judge needed to prioritize. He should have had a harsher sentence. And I get it. The laws are written a certain way to where, oh, you can only get 15 to 20 years, but that's a nonviolent crime. But for murder, you can only get 5 years, 5 to 10 years. Like, what? Well, then I'm gonna give you the full amount because you basically somebody lost their lives because of you, so you're gonna get the max, regardless if it's your first offense, second offense, third offense. If you have a history or you don't have a history, you're gonna get the max. You harm somebody. Now, if you stole $5, nonviolent crime, and get 2 years, I don't even. Don't quote me. I don't know what his actual crime was. I haven't been able to go look into it to see what, and they didn't put it in the petition. But just from the little bit of information. So please, 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 please go out and if you want to know more about some of these topics I'm talking about, you're more than welcome to go into it. Go review my last video. I was doing a video on some of the petitions here in San Antonio, Texas. And yeah, they're very disturbing on some of the things that are happening here in the city. Again, the only way we can make a difference if we try making change, we got to speak up. If you can't speak up, please speak up with your signature. Your signature is just as good as your voice. So please, please, it's actually in lieu of your voice. So that is your way of speaking up. So please go to the petitions, look over them. If you want to know more about them, do your research. Please sign them. Let's make a difference. Let's change San Antonio and let's change the United States because there are nationally petitions out there that will are geared to change some of the stuff nationally, not just locally. So definitely look at both and because sometimes if we're having one issue here locally, it might be a national thing too. So you're gonna need a I would definitely need to look for both. So that way you're speaking on both platforms, the larger and the smaller platform here locally and nationally. So definitely, definitely look into that. Do your research. These guys, just be careful out there with your kids. Look, actually I just seen let me see if I can pull it back up. Where was it? I think it was here. You all. There is one more I do. God, was it on this one? I watched so many videos today. Okay, so it's not on this one. Maybe it's on the other one. This has to do with the little girl. Hold on. Same one. So maybe it was under my regular one. Switch account. Dang it. I switched account to the same account I was on. Dork. Let's see. God, I thought I saved it. put it into the watch later. That was a good one. I needed. Okay, wasn't this one? Okay, let's go back here. I could have sworn I liked it. Hmm. Okay. Gosh. I was trying to find that video I had saw earlier, but I don't know which channel. Like if I was on my business one or my personal one or what. Because man, because this little girl was actually in the alley, I guess, walking home from school, whatever, and a car pulled up to her and was getting ready to take her when this dog kind of like came up and, but I guess not. Hmm. Okay. So I guess that's it. I did went ahead and again take care of your kids, monitor everything, especially when they're online. You want everything parental permissioned. Um, I even get notifications when they don't even they can't even download free kid games like without my permission. Like I have to approve, go into my account and approve them, and then they can go in, and they'll start downloading it on theirs, and then they'll be like, "Oh, thanks, mom, you did it!" Like, and sometimes they'll forget, but like, "Mom, I sent that," and that's good because I'm like, they just need to learn how to ask permission. So yeah, share your body. Oh my goodness. So again, I am. This is just bad. Florida Attorney General charges 8 members of international CP. That is beyond berserk. Beyond berserk. 14 hours, Jesus. Let me store it in the chat. Ugh. I have no clue who this person is. Okay, whatever, dude. Okay. Well, I guess that is it. I'm going to be done for right now. Okay. Okay. So anyway, guys, God, getting kind of a little frustrated today because man, it's Friday, but none of my kids went to school because it's a holiday for them, and oh my gosh, I swear, like these teachers don't work no more. I swear, they get so many days off, and then they cry when like my kids miss like school because they're sick and stuff. Like, well, if you wouldn't have so many freaking holidays, maybe, or teacher resource centers, like, so y'all get to go to work and get paid while my kids are at home with me. It's basically teacher, whatever, whatever. They get those like once every 2 months. Like, I swear my kids are home like at least one day out of the month. One day out of the month. And I'm like, so on top of those days, and then they're out for school. Like my kids are hardly ever in school. I'm like, might as well freaking homeschool them because they learn more here than they do over there. I swear. I'm not saying anything bad about teachers or anything because I mean it's just the generation nowadays. People don't like to work as much. Back in the other days, I like our elementary teachers were some of them lived on our street. I mean, dude, we used to have after school programs and they would volunteer their time. They didn't get paid extra. They got paid the same amount or whatever, whatever. Nowadays, teachers don't do that. They have daycare centers coming in where parents got to charge, pay. And it's like crazy. It's crazy how times change. Everybody wants to make money somehow or another. It's like, why don't you do something good? Because it's for the kids. It's not even but I don't know. I can't say nothing and whatever. But I am gonna go for now. I am gonna be on here later. I will do another video or two, maybe two. I don't know. But I know I'll do another one for sure. I'll be on here live for sure. Maybe even just kind of hanging out, waiting for somebody to come talk to me. So I don't know, but I am gonna go for now because I do have to go start lunch for the kids and things like that. So I will be back once they're all settled again. All right, guys. Again, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Y'all stay safe out there. And again, don't forget, pinkies up.